Welcome back, y'all, to Solving Proportions, which is not 9-1. I believe it's 9-2. My apologies. We're going to solve proportions today with cross products. More on that in a moment. For now, I would encourage you to pause, check your answers from the previous assignment, and come on back when you're ready. Y'all know I love questions, so bring those questions, ladies and gents. Here we are, very short and succinct objective today. We're going to be succinct about this. I will solve proportions. Now, look, sometimes it's easy. If 7 goes it perfectly into 35, and sometimes it's not. And when not, we're going to teach you a different method. Of course, sooner or later, this is going to move into percent problems, like what is 25% of a $485 television. Maybe you get a 25% off coupon, whatever the case might be. But for today, let's solve some proportions, shall we? Pause, come on back when you're ready. Please note, we are asking you to write all your answers as whole or mixed numbers. Keep that in mind. We do not want decimals when you're checking your answers in the back of the book, as well as the answers that I show you tomorrow. I will not display decimals. All right, so let's focus on this. A proportion is simply an equation that shows two equal ratios. Remember, ratio is a relationship between two things, boys to girls, green candies to yellow candies, wins to losses, anything like that. But sometimes things just don't work out well, and so we're going to do the cross products. Now, I'm going to take this one slowly, methodically. I'm going to show you where cross products come from and why they work. This is not, ladies and gentlemen, it is not magic. All right, check this out. So let's say we want to get rid of the times 6, or excuse me, divided by 6. Well, you know, to get rid of a divide by 6, we can multiply both sides by 6. And that leaves us with n is equal to 5 times 6, because that's 6 over 1, all over 18. You're wondering maybe why I don't multiply 5 times 6 to make 30. Just follow me for a second. Meanwhile, we can then multiply 18 on both sides to get rid of that fraction. After all, 18 eighteenths makes a whole, which leads us with 18 n's equals 5 times 6, or should I say 18 times n. Now, I want you to look at where that comes from. 18 times n. 18 times n. 5 times 6. 5 times 6. This is not some magic method that some math teachers at some point in time made up. It really works using what we know about properties of equality and solving equations. The point here is that when we multiply diagonally, n times 18, 5 times 6, we can now set up a new equation, which we very quickly can solve. How do we get rid of that 18? We're going to divide by 18, of course, because after all, 18 eighteenths makes one whole n, and 30 eighteenths can be reduced. Some of you like to reduce first and then change to mixed numbers later. Some of you like to change to a mixed number first. Sorry, that's an 18. And then change it back to a mixed number, or to simplifying later. Point is, ladies and gents, we're going to call that cross product. Some people call it cross multiplication. It's not reducing. It's not cross reducing. It's cross multiplication in order to solve and find the missing piece of a proportion. Now, if you need to, pause and go back and watch the whole why behind it once again. Meanwhile, the rest of us, let's go on with a couple more examples. So if we were to multiply diagonally using cross products, we have, notice here, by the way, 7 doesn't go nicely into 10. Otherwise, we would just want to find whatever number goes into it. But in this case, let's go ahead and multiply diagonally instead. So 7 times n, 7n. 5 times 10, 50. But we don't want to know what 7n's equal, Mr. Callan, so let's go ahead and divide numerator and both sides of the fraction, by 7. And in that case, that would leave us with 1n equals 50 70ths. 50 70ths in simplest form, 7 wholes and 1/7. If you go back and you look at your number sense and say, okay, 7 a little larger than 5, 10 a little larger than 7 1/7, you can kind of see that relationship is maintained. And yes, not every answer is going to be a nice, pretty integer. Oh, look, it's not always going to be that way. All right, let's do one more example, please. Don't fret fractions and mixed numbers. We know how to multiply this. First and foremost, please notice that we're going to multiply diagonally, 5 times n, and 4 times, don't forget, change anytime you're multiplying anything that is a mixed number or a whole number, change that and that into improper fractions. Now in this case, you'll notice quite nicely as I have crossed down here that the 4's cross cancel. Well, this is interesting. 5 times some number equals 5. Gee, I wonder what that number must be. Now, if you would like, go back and notice 1 a little bit smaller than a 4, 4 a little bit smaller than 5, and you can then see that the relationship is maintained. That, ladies and gents, is what we have for cross products. That's all I have for examples. I will give you a couple to do on Kami, and then you're going to finish the rest on paper. Again, please notice what I wrote before. No decimal answers for today, ladies and gents. All answers please write in simplest form as either a whole number, a mixed number, a fraction, whatever the case might be. Thanks so much, folks. Let's grow.